Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Mr. English Podcast. I am James, and today I am so excited because we're talking about something that confuses many English learners. Many people text me and say, James, I don't understand the difference between since and for. I don't know when to use by and when to use until. So today, we fix this problem together.
Yes. And James, I remember when I was learning English too, I made the same mistakes all the time. I would write things like, I study English since 2 years, and that was wrong. Or I would say, I will finish my homework by tomorrow, and I was confused about if that was correct or not.
Exactly, and this is so common. But here's the good news. Today, you will understand all of this. These rules are not difficult. You just need to see them with clear examples, and then you will remember them forever.
Before we start, we want to say thank you for listening to Mr. English Podcast. If you enjoy our podcast, please subscribe to our channel, and please share this episode with your friends who are learning English. We read every comment, and we love hearing from you. Now, let's make English easy together.
Okay, let's start with since and for. These two words both talk about time, but they are very, very different. One thing is important to remember. These words are not the same.
Right, so let's use our real life first. James, when did you start working as an English teacher?
I started teaching English 5 years ago, so I have been teaching English for 5 years.
Perfect. So you said for 5 years. That is correct. 4 is a number. You count it. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. This is how you use for.
Yes. For is about the amount of time. It is the length, like a measurement. I studied English for 3 months. I waited for 2 hours. I lived in New York for 1 year.
I understand. So for tells us how long something takes or how long something continues. What about since?
Good question. Since is different. Since tells us the starting point, the beginning time, the exact moment when something started.
Can you give me an example?
Of course. I have been teaching English since 2019. That is the year I started. I started in 2019.
So since is the beginning date or time, not the length, not the measurement.
Exactly. Let me give you more examples so you really understand. I have lived in this city since last summer. That is when I moved here. I have worked at this school since January. January is when I started.
Oh, I see the pattern now. Since equals the starting point. Since equals the beginning. Since equals when you started.
Yes, and for is about the length of time. For is how long. For is the amount of time from the beginning until now.
This is making sense. Give me one more real example from your life, James.
Okay, so I met my wife 7 years ago. We got married 6 years ago, so I have been married to my wife for 6 years. For 6 years is how long I have been married. And I have been married to my wife since 2019. 2019 is when we got married, the starting point.
Perfect. So both sentences are correct?
Yes, both are completely correct. I have been married for 6 years. I have been married since 2019. They mean almost the same thing, but for shows the length and since shows the starting point.
Wonderful. So let me try this with my example. I have been a podcast host for 2 years, and I have been a podcast host since 2024.
Yes, that is perfect. You got it.
Great. Now, listeners, do you see how this works? Since and for are different, but they both go together with the present perfect tense. Remember, you usually say, I have been with these words.
And here's an important thing. Do not say, I study English since 2 years. That is wrong. You must say, I have studied English for 2 years, or I have studied English since 2024. Never use since with a number. Never use for with a date.
Good point. So since equals date or time, Monday, January 2024, last summer. For equals number or amount, 2 years, 3 months, 5 days.
Perfect summary.
Now, let's talk about the mistakes. James, what is the biggest mistake you see from students?
The biggest mistake is mixing them up. For example, a student will say, I am learning English for 2024. That sounds strange because 2024 is a year, not an amount of time. The correct sentence is, I have been learning English since 2024.
And the opposite mistake?
Yes, someone will say, I study here since 5 years. That is wrong too. If you want to say the amount of time, you say, I study here for 5 years. But if you want to say the starting point, you say, I study here since 2019 or since last year.
I see. Another mistake I have heard is when people forget the time indicator completely. They just say, I'm working, without for or since. That means nothing.
Right. The sentence doesn't give enough information. How long? When did you start? These are questions the listener has in their head.
Let me give another example. My friend says, I'm living in America. That's too simple. We don't know how long. We don't know since when. The correct way is, I'm living in America for 1 year, or I'm living in America since 2025.
Good example. And here's a tricky one. What if someone says, I have been here since 5 years? This sounds almost correct, but it's wrong.
Why is it wrong?
Because 5 years is an amount of time, not a starting point. A starting point is something like since 2020, or since last Monday, or since I was a child. You never put a number after since. That is the rule.
Ah, I remember now. When I first moved to America, I said to my neighbor, I have been here since 3 months. She looked confused. Later, I learned I should have said, I have been here for 3 months.
Yes, that is the perfect real-life example. You see how easy it is to make this mistake?
Very easy, but now it is clear.
Okay, so now you understand the difference, but how do you practice? How do you remember this rule forever? Emma, what is your favorite way to practice?
Great question. I think the easiest way is to make sentences about your own life. Think about something you do every day. Think about when you started it. Then make 2 sentences, one with for and one with since.
That is excellent advice. Can you give an example?
Yes, I drink coffee every day. I started drinking coffee regularly when I was in high school. That was about 8 years ago. So I can say, I have been drinking coffee for 8 years, and I have been drinking coffee since I was in high school.
Perfect. And making sentences about your own life helps you remember because it's personal. It's real to you.
Exactly. Another practice method is to read. Read books, read articles, read social media posts in English. When you see for and since, stop and think about why the writer used that word.
That is smart. Reading helps your brain understand the pattern. You see the words again and again, and your brain naturally learns.
Yes. And here's another thing. When you watch movies or listen to podcasts, listen for these words. When you hear someone say, I have been doing this for 2 years, your ear learns. Listening is very powerful for learning.
I agree. And here is my favorite practice method. I tell students to keep a learning journal. Every day, write 1 sentence with for and 1 sentence with since, just 1 sentence each. Do this for 2 weeks and you will never forget this rule.
That is a good habit. Writing helps your memory very much. And James, another method is speaking. Talk to yourself. Talk to a friend. Make sentences about your life. Use for and since. Don't be shy. Make mistakes. Mistakes are learning.
Yes, mistakes are beautiful. Do not fear making mistakes. This is how we learn English. We make mistakes and we learn. It is simple.
Very well said. So the practice methods are 1. Make sentences about your own life. 2. Read English. 3. Listen to English. 4. Write in a journal. 5. Speak and talk. These 5 methods are powerful.
And here's bonus advice. Find a learning partner. Tell your partner you are studying this rule. Ask your partner to correct you. This is very helpful. Now, let's talk about by and until. These are also confusing for many learners, but they are very different, just like since and for.
These words are about the future time or a deadline, right?
Yes, good thinking, but they are still different. Let me explain. By means you will finish something or complete something before a certain time. The action finishes before the deadline.
Can you give me an example?
Sure, I will finish my homework by 9 o'clock. That means I will finish it before 9 o'clock or at 9 o'clock. I will not finish at 10 o'clock. 9 o'clock is my deadline.
Ah, I see. By is a deadline. By is the latest time.
Exactly. Here are more examples. I will see you by Friday. I will complete this project by next month. I will send the email by tomorrow. All of these show a deadline.
What about until? That sounds different.
Until is about duration. The action continues from now until a certain time. Until is not about finishing something. Until is about continuing something.
I am confused. Can you explain this with examples?
Of course. I will wait until 9 o'clock. This means I will wait and wait and wait until 9 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, I will stop waiting. I continue the action of waiting the whole time until that moment.
Oh, so until shows how long an action continues.
Yes, that is a good way to think about it. Here are more examples. The store is open until midnight. That means the store continues to be open. The action continues until midnight. At midnight, it closes. I will stay at the party until 10 o'clock. I stay and stay and stay until 10. Then I leave.
Now I understand. By is about finishing, until is about how long something continues.
Perfect summary. But wait, there is one more thing. These words can be confusing because sometimes they sound similar, but they are different in meaning.
Can you give me a sentence where the difference is very clear?
Yes. I will finish my work by 5 o'clock. I will work until 5 o'clock. Do you see the difference?
The first sentence is about finishing. The second sentence is about how long I work. In the first sentence, I might finish at 3 o'clock, but the deadline is 5 o'clock. In the second sentence, I definitely work until 5 o'clock, and then I stop.
Wow, you explained that perfectly.
Thank you. So by is about deadline for finishing, until is about duration of continuing. These are very different ideas.
Yes, and this is the key to understanding these words.
Now, what mistakes do people make with by and until? What's your advice, James?
Similar to since and for, I recommend making sentences about your own life. What do you need to finish? Give that a deadline with by. What do you continue doing? Use until for that.
Can you give an example?
Sure. I need to finish my work by 6 o'clock. I will watch television until 8 o'clock. The first sentence is finishing. The second is continuing.
Good. Another practice method is to create your own schedule or to-do list using these words. I will call my friend by Friday. I will rest until Thursday.
That's creative and very practical. When you use these words in real situations, you learn them faster.
Yes, I also think it helps to compare sentences. Make two sentences with the same action, one with by and one with until. See how the meaning changes.
That is excellent. Can you make an example?
Yes, I will read this book by next week. This means I will finish reading by next week. The deadline is next week. I will read this book until next week. This sounds like I will read it and read it and read it until next week, and then I will stop.
Great example. The meaning is different even though the words are similar.
Exactly. Another practice tip is to listen for these words. When you watch movies, TV shows, or listen to news, listen for by and until. Your ear will learn naturally.
That is true. Listening is a natural way to learn. Your brain starts to recognize patterns. And remember, keep your learning simple. Do not make this too hard. Just do one practice every day. Small steps.
Right. Consistency is more important than intensity. Practicing a little every day is better than practicing a lot one time. And James, another thing, find examples in real life. Look at notices, email, messages. You will see by and until used all the time.
Good point.
For example, if you go to the store, you see signs that say open until midnight or sale ends by Friday. These real examples help you understand.
Yes, because it's real. It's not just a grammar rule in a textbook. It's something you see and use in real life.
Now, I want to talk about something that will really help you. These 4 words often appear together in real English. Let me give you a long example.
I like this idea. This shows how you actually use these words.
Okay, so I will tell you a story. I am a teacher. I assign homework to my students. I say, you must finish your homework by Thursday. I have been your teacher since last September. You have been studying this material for 2 weeks. You have 1 more week. Work on this until Friday, then you are done.
Wow, that is all 4 words in one paragraph.
Yes, by Thursday is the deadline for finishing. Since last September is when I started teaching them. For 2 weeks is how long they studied. Until Friday is how long they need to work. Do you see how they all work together?
This is very helpful. The words are part of real English, not just separate grammar rules.
Exactly. Let me give you another example from a personal situation. My friend is visiting from another country. I tell her, I have been waiting for your visit since last year. I have wanted to see you for so long. You must arrive by next Saturday. After you arrive, we can spend time together until Monday. Monday is when you go home.
That is beautiful, and it shows how natural these words are.
Right. These words are not strange or unusual. They are normal English. People use them every day.
So the practice is to put these words in real context, make stories, make situations, use the words naturally.
Yes, and here's the cool thing. When you learn these words this way, you start to use them automatically. You do not think about the rule, you just use them correctly.
That is the goal of learning, not to think about rules, but to speak naturally.
Yes, that is exactly right.
James, let me ask you this. Do you have a quick way for listeners to remember all of this? A trick or a shortcut?
Great question. I have a few memory tricks. Let me share them.
Please do.
First trick, since and for. Think of it this way. 4 is a number. 4 has 4 letters. A number has 4 letters too. 4. They rhyme. Okay, that's not a perfect trick, but it helps some people.
That is funny, but it works. I like it.
Second trick. Since starts with S and sounds like start. Since is about the starting point, S and start. Remember that.
Oh, that's clever.
Third trick. By and until. By is short and it's for short deadlines. Until is longer and it's for longer durations. Well, not always, but the sound helps some people.
These tricks are funny, but they work.
And here's the most important trick. When you're unsure, ask yourself a question. Am I talking about a date or a number? If date, use since or by. If number, use for or until. Well, not exactly, but close.
Actually, let me clarify. For is with a number, since is with a date, by is with a deadline, which is a date, until is with a time point that shows duration.
You're right. Let me think of a better way to explain this. Think of since and for together. They go with I have been doing this sentences. Think of by and until together. They go with future sentences, sentences with will be or will do.
That is a good way to organize your thinking.
Yes, so if you're talking about now or the past, use since or for. If you're talking about the future, use by or until.
Now that's a trick I like.
So, let's review. Since and for equal past and present with have been. By and until equal future with will be or will do.
Perfect summary. Let's do a fun exercise for the listeners. I will read some sentences and you listen. Try to hear since, for, by, or until. Ready?
I love this idea. Go ahead.
Number 1. I have been a teacher for 10 years.
For 10 years. That's the amount of time. For, not since, because 10 years is a number.
Correct. Number 2. I will arrive by 7 o'clock.
By 7 o'clock. The deadline is 7 o'clock.
Correct. Number 3. She has lived in this apartment since 2022.
Since 2022. The starting point is 2022.
Yes. Number 4. We will eat dinner until 9 o'clock.
Until 9 o'clock. We continue eating until that time.
Perfect. Now, let's do some tricky ones. Number 5. I have been studying English for 3 months, and I started since January.
Wait, both sentences? That's a little confusing. The second sentence should say, I started in January, or I have been studying English since January. You don't need both for and since together.
Exactly. This is a common mistake. People think they need to use both words, but you use one or the other.
Right. You say, I have been studying for 3 months, or I have been studying since January, not both together.
Good catch. Number 6, I will finish this project by next month and work until then.
This makes sense. I will finish by next month, which is the deadline, and I will work until that deadline arrives. Both make sense in this context.
Yes, both can work together because they're talking about slightly different things. By is the deadline to finish. Until tells how long I work.
Good exercise, Emma.
I think we should address some questions that students ask us.
Great idea. What is the first question?
The first question is, can I use since and for together? Like, I have been here for 2 weeks since Monday.
This is confusing, but the answer is no, not really. You would say, I have been here for 2 weeks, or I have been here since Monday. If you use both, it sounds strange. You're giving the same information 2 ways, and it's confusing.
Right, but what if Monday was exactly 2 weeks ago?
Good question. If Monday was exactly 2 weeks ago, then both are technically correct, but people don't usually say both together. You choose one, the length or the starting point.
Good catch. Next question, do I always use by and until with future tense?
Good question. The answer is mostly yes, but not always. By and until usually go with future situations, but sometimes you can use them with present or even past situations, like I will have finished by tomorrow is future, but the store closes by 9 o'clock is present. I waited until he called me is past.
So they're not always future?
Right. They're usually about a deadline or ending point, and that can be past, present, or future.
Next question, what is the difference between by and during?
Oh, that's another conversation. But quickly, during means at some point within a time period. By means the deadline. I will call you during the day means sometime in the day. I will call you by the day doesn't make sense. I will call you by 5 o'clock means the deadline is 5.
Good distinction. Last question, can I use these words with gerunds or infinitives?
That's too technical for today. But the short answer is yes, sometimes, but that's a lesson for another day. For beginners, just focus on the basic sentences with have been and will.
Good point. Let's keep it simple for now.
Okay, listeners, we have covered a lot today. Let me give you the most important things to remember.
Yes, please summarize.
Number 1, since is the starting point. When did you start? That's since. Use it with a date or time, not a number.
Number 2, for is the length of time. How long? That's for. Use it with a number of years, months, days, hours.
Number 3, by is the deadline for finishing. You will be done by this time. Use by with a specific deadline.
Number 4, until is about continuing. The action continues until this time and then it stops. Use until with a time point.
And the most important thing, practice with your own life. Make sentences about your experiences. Write them down, say them out loud. This is how you really learn.
Do not just memorize the rule. Live the rule. Use it, speak it, write it.
Exactly. And remember, mistakes are okay. Make mistakes, learn, improve. This is the journey of learning English.
And be patient with yourself. These words might feel confusing today, but in a week or 2 of practice, you will understand them naturally.
That is so true. Our brains need time to absorb information. That is normal, that is healthy learning.
Before we finish, I want to give the listeners a challenge.
What kind of challenge?
I want them to make 5 sentences about their own lives. 1 sentence with since, 1 with for, 1 with by, 1 with until, and 1 sentence that uses 2 of these words together.
Oh, I love this. That will really help them practice.
And then I want them to share one of these sentences in the comments. Tell us your sentence. Tell us your story. We will read it, and we will give you feedback. Is that okay, James?
Yes, we love reading comments. We love seeing our listeners practice and grow. Please share with us. Don't be shy.
Here's an example for you. One of my sentences is, I have been co-hosting this podcast since May, and I will continue until the end of the year. Look, I used 2 words, since and until.
Beautiful. And that sentence is natural. That is a real sentence.
Thank you. Now it's your turn, listeners. Make your sentences, practice, and share in the comments.
This exercise will really help your brain remember these words.
Before we finish, I have a bonus tip.
Oh, I like bonus tips. What is it?
The tip is always think about context. The same sentence can have different meanings depending on the situation.
Can you give an example?
Sure. I have been waiting. This sentence needs more information. Waiting how long? Waiting since when? Without since, for, by, or until, the sentence is incomplete.
Right. I have been waiting for 2 hours is clear. I have been waiting since 3 o'clock is clear. But I have been waiting is vague.
Exactly. So always add these words to give complete information. Help your listener understand.
And here's another tip. When you're speaking English, listen to yourself. Do your sentences feel complete? Do they answer the listener's questions about when or how long? If not, add since, for, by, or until.
Yes, this is the skill of clear communication.
And this is not just about grammar. This is about being a good communicator. Clear communication helps people understand you, and that's the goal of learning a language.
Well said, James. Well said.
Let me give you some real-world examples. Where do you see these words in real English?
Where?
In job interviews. An interviewer might ask, "How long have you been working in this field?" And you say, "I have been working in this field for 5 years." Or, "I have been working since 2020.
Good example.
In business emails, "Please send the report by Friday. The project must be finished by next month."
Interesting.
In social situations, "I can stay until midnight. I have been friends with him since college."
In movies and TV shows, you hear these words all the time.
In doctor's offices, "How long have you had this pain?" "I have been feeling pain for 3 days."
In school, homework is due by tomorrow. I have been studying since breakfast.
Everywhere, these words are common in real English, so learning them is important.
This is why our podcast today is important. We're teaching you words that you will actually use.
Yes, and now you understand why we chose this topic.
Okay, James, I think we've covered everything. What are your final words to the listeners?
My final words are do not give up. Learning English is a journey, not a destination. These 4 words, since, for, by, and until, are just one small part of that journey. Today, you learned something new. Be proud of that.
That's beautiful. And my final words are, remember that you are not alone. Millions of people are learning English right now, just like you. We all make mistakes, we all learn, we all grow. So be kind to yourself.
Very wise words, Emma. Now, listeners, we have one request. Please subscribe to Mr. English Podcast if you haven't already. Every time we release a new episode, you will see it right away, and that helps us grow.
And please share this episode with your friends. Share it with your family. Share it on your social media. Tell them about Mr. English Podcast. Help us help more people learn English.
We have comments on every episode. We read every single one. We love hearing from you. Tell us which part of this episode helped you the most. Tell us your practice sentences. Tell us your challenges. Tell us your success stories.
We're here for you. We are learning together.
And here's something special. If you listen to this episode and you finally understand since, for, by, and until, please tell us in the comments. We want to celebrate with you. Learning is hard. Reaching success is special.
Tell us your name, tell us your country, tell us your story. We want to know you.
Thank you so much for listening to Mr. English Podcast today. This episode was Stop Mixing Up Since, For, By, and Until. Easy grammar tips for beginners learning English.
We'll be back next week with another topic to help you improve your English. We are learning together.
Keep practicing, keep speaking, keep learning.
Bye-bye, friends. See you next time on Mr. English Podcast.
Bye, everyone. You got this.